Good morning and welcome to Purpose Driven Finances, where our focus is helping you use your finances to achieve the purpose and plan for your life. And now here's the host of Purpose Driven Finances, Allan Molina with Serwus Capital Management.
Hey, good morning. This is Allan Molina, Serwus Capital Management, financial advisor and president. Give me a call at 434-316-0246. Hope you're having a great weekend. Is this not crazy weather? It reminds me of the beach. Every evening we get a big old thunderstorm. But folks, I hope you're having a great weekend, enjoying the weather. It's kind of hot. Got to mow the grass, but I'm sitting here with my pal, Rich Roth. How you doing, man?
What's up, Allan?
You having a great weekend?
So far so good.
Hey, that's good. I haven't lost, I haven't used any ladders to climb any trees to cut. So I'm following Tommy Permitter's advice.
Always a good idea.
Exactly, a good idea. But what's been interesting is there's not really much happening in the political front. The big beautiful bill passed. I would say the biggest thing that's happening is I don't know if you heard it, but Pulte. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name right. Poulte.
Okay.
I think he's over Fannie and Freddie or something.
All right.
Well, he decided to go to Chairman Powell. He testified before Congress that they're doing a update to the Federal Reserve, and at the tune of $2.8 billion.
$2.8 billion. Wow.
That's a big chunk of change.
Yeah,
man.
it is.
That's like you redoing the studio for $25 million.
Are you donating?
Right. Well, you don't have the government, I mean, if you had to redo the entire studio at WLNI, it wouldn't be, it depends on how bad it is. But let's just say you updated it to where it was modern and gizmo-y. Mm-hmm. You're probably looking at $1 million, $1.5 million. To make it all perfect and high end, solar and all this other stuff.
Oh my God.
To where that way you don't have to use a generator. It's always on, making it perfect. Probably $1 million, $1.5 million is my guess. But if you came out with a budget of, hey, we're going to do it for $10 million, I think someone should say sus.
Right.
Well, that's what Pulte decided to do. He was like, Chairman Powell, you said 2.3 billion. I'm calling sus, so I'm going to go investigate it. Well, Marjorie Greene and two other senators, from my understanding, have signed on to actually come after the federal chairman for lying to Congress.
Wow.
So I'm wondering
is it about to hit the fan here or what?
I'm wondering if it's kind of like, hey, if you quit, we won't do anything about this.
Yeah.
But I'm like, come on, man. One thing they need to investigate, $2.8 billion. And they've been comparing, well, you know what? For $2.8 billion, we could build a Redskins Stadium, the Tennessee Titans Stadium, and the Bills Stadium, Maybe not all combined, but I think it's cheaper. It's a little bit more expensive than all of those individually.
Wow.
So that's a big old,
chunk of change.
Right. And so it's just crazy. But Rich, you're not very talkative today. So I'm like, come on, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Rich has had a great week. He is he's a great guy. And what I'm looking forward to? I saw your pen. I'm looking forward to the
draft.
The draft. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to have a computer there with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Don't tell anybody.
I won't.
That's going to be my secret. So, folks, we got 5 minutes left. Not 5 minutes left. We got about 8 minutes, 10 minutes left. We're done with just introducing you to us. But, Rich, let me tell you something I did this week.
Okay.
It was exciting. And we're going to talk about some other clients, not by name, when we get into the stuff. And I'll try not to be real specific, but just things that have you need to watch out for. This week has been a great week of financial planning. Sitting down with folks, talking about retirement planning, long-term care planning, and it's been very beneficial. Because, Rich, one thing that comes easy to me is financial planning. Mm-hmm. I don't know, when you were in the industry, what area that you really enjoyed? for me, I really enjoy portfolio management. The financial planning, to me, it's exciting because it gives, the only reason it's exciting is it gives people snapshot answers that give them solutions to their questions.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, it's boring to me because all it is breaking it down into some numbers. And realistically, finding out, numbers as a whole is boring, but executing the plan is exciting. And seeing people's eyes light up or breathe to say, hey, whew, I'm not that bad off, or I'm doing better than I thought. And so it's been a fun week of financial planning. What area did you like?
I really liked meeting with people, getting to know them, and trying to, figure out what was best for them. I also liked being able to, because I thought I was pretty good at relating to them and, breaking things down into terms that they could understand, because a lot of that financial stuff can be, as you know, very
intimidating,
very complicating too, so, just kind of trying to lay it out, and here's an easier way to understand it.
Well, you're excellent at that.
Well, thank you.
You're excellent at that. When you, when
I'm nothing with algorithms, though. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
nothing.
Neither am I. If I didn't have an algorithm,
You created an algorithm.
I did. A couple of them, but you do a very good job of trying to figure out what people need and to make it relatable. You've done it with my company, but also you've done it with, I know, other advertisers, and you're doing a great job. So, Rich, when it comes to people's money, I really enjoy the algorithms and the math and where we're headed.
Yeah, you're a math guy.
I am. I'm a math guy. A friend of mine said, hey, you know the math, and they gave me the formula and said, you figure it out. They were my pool team. I was like, wow, you call me a math guy.
You're like the ChatGPT of math.
Yeah, it's funny.
Just text Allan and you'll get the formula. You'll get the answer back.
Right. My mind just goes down somewhere else. So we're in a quad 3 going to a quad 2. You know what is common in between quad?
All right, do me a favor. Remind folks, quad 3 is what? Just generally speaking, quad 3 is where the economy is right now.
And inflation.
Right. Okay.
All the quads are that way, but quad 3 is mainly economy is slowing or not really growing as fast as it did.
Mm-hmm.
And inflation's going up.
And quad 4 is the worst one to
Right.
be in. Quad 1 is the best. So
Correct.
quad 3 is
There's ways to make money. Not as easy as quad 1.
okay.
Quad 1, everybody's a hero. Quad 2, everybody's a hero because everything goes up.
Quad 1 is the monkey throws the dart,
Exactly.
picks the stock, and he's a winner.
Yes, exactly.
Doesn't matter what it hits.
Right.
Yeah.
Quad 4 is people, their accounts go down 20, 30, 40%. And that's when they're, that's crazy time. Quad 3, it's harder. I think quad 3 of all the 4 are hardest to actually manage. Quad 2 is interesting because the economy's growing, inflation's going up. And so what's interesting is right now is from an inflationary standpoint, I wanted to mention a couple of the items in portfolios because I met with some people and I met with a lot of people this week, and we were talking about portfolios and portfolio construction and how your advisor, if you hire an advisor, they should be actually managing your portfolio, not just set it and forget it. And that being said, I was talking to them and we were talking about the quads and things such as that and the difference in the portfolios. And I was talking about, some of the items in portfolios. I'll give you an example of some of the things that are in client portfolios right now.
Okay.
Lithium. Lithium miners. There's an ETF that's focused on lithium miners. Yeah, who would have thought? Now, we're not talking about 20%. That would be, a little crazy, bro. We're talking about 1%, 2%, not very much. Copper miners. Palladium or platinum. I think it's platinum. Rare earth minerals. I'm not talking about a significant portion of your portfolio, but 1-2% in each of them. And so what ends up happening is you get to take advantage of the inflation going up. Also, I think we have a little bit of agriculture. That's been a little bit more squishy. One thing that's been interesting is long-term bonds are in a funk. Because you've heard that Trump wants Powell to lower interest rates.
Oh, yeah, once or twice.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you're too late. You stink. He used other words. He wants. I've heard as much as 3%. Just imagine when Powell's going to leave. He's going to leave sometime.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, with Trump saying, Powell just needs to stay there, I'm not going to fire him, if he knew that Pulte was going to go examine his statement and then they were going to call for him to be, charged for lying to Congress. That's why he pulled back. I'm wondering. But that being said, even if it happens next year, imagine the Federal Reserve coming out saying, okay, we're going to lower rates by 2%. That's going to be a rather large shock. So I hope they don't really do that. It's going to be quite interesting. So the bond portfolio is going to be interesting. The U.S. dollar it's been going up about 2 weeks now. I think it's a counter trend rally, and on Friday it got beat like a rented mule. I think at one point it was down almost 0.5%, and for a currency to do that, that's a lot.
Mm.
And the reason I bring that up, folks, is I was talking to some prospective clients this week, and your portfolio needs to change according to the economic environment. If your portfolio is the same as it was in January of last year, something isn't right. And maybe your advisor's lucky. But Rich, I have talked to a lot of prospects over the past year, many years. I'm not going to tell you on air who it is, but I found one firm that actually tactically manages the ETFs according to the economic environment.
Really?
I've only seen one. Everybody else is kind of like, you're 60% stock, you're 40% bonds, here's American funds, here's this fund, here's that fund. Let's go out for a steak dinner.
Mm.
I was rather impressed. I told them, I said, they're matching what we do in performance, and they're tactically changing your portfolio. It's pretty good. It was ETFs. And so that was pretty good. Now, folks, give me a call at 434-316-0246. Rich, we are going to be talking about senior citizens and the areas that we need to lessen their risk. And I'll talk about portfolios, although it's one of them. I'm talking about the totality of life. That way they can analyze things. You as a son or daughter can help them. Give me a call, 434-316-0246. Catch you on the flip side.
Hi, everyone. Brian Kilmeade here. Coming up on the next edition of the Brian Kilmeade Show, we'll have the biggest newsmakers, news breakers, and take a deep dive into news you care about. Whether it's breaking news, entertainment, politics, or sports, even pop culture, I'll bring you the latest developments with expert analysis from the big names you know and love. Plus, you never know who may stop by. That's all coming up on the next edition of the Brian Kilmeade Show.
Weekday mornings from 9 to noon on WLNI.
This is Chainsaw Talk with Tommy, the Woodsman. Do ladders and tree work mix? A quick internet search will give you the answer. Ladies, if you see your man carrying a ladder and a chainsaw towards your tree, just go ahead and dial 911. There is a reason professional tree companies don't use ladders. When the tips of the branch hit the ground first, they will compress, creating a spring. Unfortunately, this energy is redirected back towards the cut end of the branch and can take the ladder right out from under him. Stick around for more great tips from Tommy, the Woodsman. I have a saw for that.com.
And now, back to Purpose-Driven Finances. Here's Allan Molina with Serwus Capital Management.
Hey, good morning again. Allan Molina, your host, Purpose-Driven Finances, president of Serwus Capital Management. It's a great day. It's a great day. And sitting here with my friend, Rich Roth. Rich, we're going to need to do lunch, bro.
Yeah, man.
I'll pay for it. And I wanted to tell you folks out there, I wanted to make it, you're getting back from vacation, you're getting ready to go to church, and you just want a second opinion, you want to chat. Give me a call. I want to take you out to lunch, take you out to dinner. And if you're like, you know what, I want to do something playful, but it's too hot outside. Hey, let's go to lunch. Let's play some pool. And we can go to the clubhouse.
You're not going to hustle people, are you?
No, I don't do that anymore. Although there was this guy at the clubhouse, he was totally gone. I mean, he was gone. Like he was gone. Like 12 beers into it.
Okay.
And he's not as good as I am. He's like, Allan, you want to play for $20? No, he said $100 a rack. I was tempted, but I said no, don't want to do that. He's a friend of mine, you know. But folks, what we're talking about is risk management, and this month. And I'm not talking about risk management in your portfolio. Hey, you need to have bonds, you need to have this, diversification. What we're doing is we're doing financial planning, but around the risk that happens in a family home, in a family. Last week we talked to a young family, but talked about a family, 3 or 4 kids, 2, 3 kids, husband and wife, whatever, or a widow or single mom, whatever, but the risk a nuclear family has. This week, I want to talk about risk that senior saints, senior citizens, seniors might have. And, it's interesting because this week I've had some issues with some seniors, and I'm going to try not to get real personal, but it's going to be hard. So, Rich, I need you to keep me in between the guardrails.
Okay.
Kick me if you have to.
I might. I might.
Allan, we don't say that. So, how are we going to do this? So, we got 4 things and then a wrap-up segment. I wonder if I'll get to it today. So, why do seniors need a different lens on risk? They face the same basic risk as a family, but age adds a few things. Okay, first of all, there's a fixed income. If you're 75, you're not generally out there creating a new company. Some of them are, but a lot of people they're just getting a rocking chair. Rich, I'm gonna quiz you because the next point on here, it's about healthcare costs. It doesn't have the percent, but do you have any idea what health cost inflation is for a senior citizen?
I have no clue.
6+. That's even before Bidenomics.
Hmm.
So sometimes it's even more than that. If you go to one of these assisted living facilities, it's pretty high. Physical vulnerabilities, emotional challenges like isolation. And so risk management at this stage is about protecting your independence, preserving dignity, but also preventing financial harm. And, it's not just about dollar and cents. It's about staying connected, safe and confident in your later years. So, Rich, let's deal with these. What's number 1?
Health and long-term care.
It's pretty simple, isn't it? I mean,
Seems pretty simple.
Pretty simple. It's not rocket science. It's chronic illness, unexpected surgeries, or long-term care needs.
Long-term care is a big one, obviously.
It is.
And I know the insurance industry there continues to change as we learn more and more about it because, long-term care is very expensive.
Very expensive. Very expensive. And the choice you have, there's really 3 choices you have. You pay out of pocket to get someone to take care of you or your loved one. You have insurance, or you do it yourself. And the issue that you have when you do it, have you ever experienced it firsthand or secondhand?
Experience what specifically?
Long-term care, as in not you going through it, but a loved one or someone close. It's hard.
It is.
It's hard because people are like, well, why is it so hard? Because here's what I have found, Rich, is some people our age or lower, they've never really seen it. Because there's the physical and the emotional toll it takes on the caregiver is phenomenal. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. My wife went through it and her sisters. I went through it with my mom. But I've seen families who took on a loved one who had Alzheimer's. And, if you remember back, someone with Alzheimer's can live another 10, 12 years from the onset of dementia. That's tough. and you hit the nail on the head, my friend, is not, when you have somebody to deal with, you have the spiritual, you have the emotional, and I don't mean by the emotional, the lovey-dovey stuff. You have the intellectual. You have the food prep and all that other stuff. You have the financial, and then you have the health. And you're exactly right, my friend, that if you have to take care of someone and it's beyond, here's some food, let me help you to the bathroom, when it gets to those other levels, it can weigh on you.
Well, I mean, it's not just the other levels, right? It's even that stuff you first talked about. I mean, if you're someone who's not used to cooking the meals, and then all of a sudden that's one other thing that you have to do, it takes a huge toll.
Right. And I have friends who
I mean, laundry, cleaning, now all of a sudden you're doing everything. Whereas, ideally, it's a shared situation, right? A husband and wife, and that's typically what we're talking about. Or, if you're a kid now, all of a sudden, it's your parents sick, you're, you're doing all these things at your house, but then you're doing it at their house too. I mean, it's doubling the workload, and that's just the physical part of it. Then there's the emotional part too.
Right. And, specifically, a lot of times, if they're married, the first one who takes care of it is the spouse. The husband to the wife or the wife to the husband.
Right.
And it's extremely hard.
It is.
It's extremely hard. And so you really need to analyze long-term care. And there's so many creative ways in order to do it. You can have built-up cash value life insurance. You can have an actual long-term care policy. Rich, the last insurance that I bought for myself, if I go into hospice and they say I have a year to live or less, they actually start paying out the life insurance.
Wow.
That's a huge benefit. And yes, it's only term, but it's a 20, 30-year term, which is very beneficial. It's $312 a month or something like that for $2 million worth. That's very beneficial. And then also to make sure the advanced healthcare directives and living wills are in place, for those folks. Because realistically, for the husband and wife, they don't want to be making those decisions. What's number 2?
Financial fraud and protection.
Yes. Now, here's something that's very sensitive to my heart because it's happened this week. Not to me, but to clients. And so I need to be very careful of not sharing too much information. But folks, here is what I have found. Rich, I don't know if you've done any office talk, any office talk, whatever, with folks our age or younger. I can't believe Nancy at 83, she gave $10,000 away to that guy, or somebody, did this, or, a lot of times our age group or below, or I can't believe they did this. And I've really thought about it as to why. I've wondered, why do they do that? And so, here's what
seniors, why do they get scammed?
Yes, why do they get scammed so much? Here's what I am wondering. Our parents, when they're not used to signing a contract, a handshake or my word is my bond. With us, our age group or below, if someone says something, I'm just trying to figure out whether,
what's their agenda?
Right, what's their agenda? But my parents and my grandparents are like
trusting. Exactly.
So if someone on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever other social media, I've actually had seniors talking about dating sites, which is cool. It's cool. But just because someone says to you this or that doesn't mean it's true. And so, folks, what I would do is, as a son or daughter, or even a husband or a wife, don't come about trying to monitor your parents or your grandparents from a way of, I need to protect you, you're gullible, this. realize that it's from a different mentality and learn about their generation. Learn about how they operate and act, and then help them. And, remind them that if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. It probably is. Number 3.
Well, and Allan, I'll jump in for just a second because as good as they're getting on a lot of these scams, it's not just seniors that need to be
exactly
worried about it. I mean, impersonating people we know. Hey, we've got this deal. I mean, we had one a number of months ago where, it popped up on Facebook and my wife's looking at it and it's someone we know and it's, hey, my aunt just, my uncle just died and my aunt's trying to make some money. So she's selling this stuff really cheap.
Yep.
And we've got this car and, so just send me some money for a deposit, and then fortunately we knew the person. So we reached out and like, no.
Bro, it happened to me too.
It's a scam.
I called, my wife called them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's crazy.
Got to watch yourself.
You do.
You got to watch yourself.
And you're right. I mean, the older generation may be more trusting or, they would never,
Right.
Yes, they would.
Exactly. Number 3, social and emotional risk. Isolation. Right here, what ends up happening is the risk are loneliness, depression, vulnerability, or exploitation. When we think of the word exploitation, I think of the Bedford County cops doing the online exploitation of minors.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about exploitation
Well, policing
of seniors.
if they're not doing the
Right.
exploitation.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, guys and gals. You're protecting us and protecting them. But here's some tools to help in this thing because, Rich, I don't know if you have ever been depressed or down or discouraged or frustrated. Well, I know you've been frustrated, but down and discouraged. I mean, beyond the daily frustrations.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that lasted. What ends up happening is if you get into that spiral of alone, you get depressed, you get vulnerable. One thing that seniors need to do is you need to build a regular schedule of social activities. Come out and play pool.
Let Allan hustle you.
Hey, let's go. Let's have some fun. Go to senior citizens, church groups, community programs. Leverage technology for connection. It's so cool. Seeing a grandma FaceTime their kids, it's so funny. It's awesome. Also, neighbors and families should check in on people on a regular basis. Why? Staying socially engaged reduces the cognitive decline and helps spot problems early. Check this out. You can go out and get the new Apple things you put in your ear, iPods? AirPods that actually help with hearing.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Helps with fear and decision paralysis. We'll cover that next week. Virginia-specific notes. Let's cover this because we got like a minute to go. In Virginia, many counties have area agencies on aging, transportation, wellness checks, fraud prevention workshops. Go to various networks. The church I attend, Thomas Road Baptist Church, has a great senior ministry of senior folks to go hang out and do stuff with. It's a lot of fun. Then, here's some 5 final steps. Review your legal documents. Make sure what's in there is what you want to get done. Wills, power of attorney, advanced directives. Audit your financial accounts from fraud protection. Make sure there's not like a $10,000 check for, 20 Apple cards. Check your insurance, all of them. Build a social calendar, don't isolate, and talk to a trusted family or advisors about your plans, what you want. Because if you're purpose-driven, then you can achieve great things as you get a little older. Give me a call, 434-316-0246. Have a blessed weekend. I'll talk to you next week.
Turns for illustrative purpose. This is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or use a platform. Only will a suggestion occur after a meeting to determine goals, risk tolerance, and time horizons. Investments involve risks and no guarantee of future results.